My wife had an affair with her boss and planned to leave me until her sister caught him cheating too. Realizing her mistake, she begged for another chance, but I was already done. Hello, Reddit I+ here. You ever have one of those moments where everything in your life just snaps into focus? Like 1 second, you're living in this fog, and the next, you see everything clear as day. That was me, when I found out my wife was cheating on me with her boss. It started with little things, the late nights, the extra effort at work, the sudden interest in looking perfect every morning. At first, I convinced myself I was being paranoid. We'd been married for 8 years and I trusted her. But trust is a funny thing. It only takes one crack for the whole thing to shatter. One night, she came home late. Again. I was sitting on the couch, watching some mindless show, trying not to let my thoughts run wild. She barely looked at me as she walked past, her phone glued to her hand. I caught a glimpse of the way she was smiling down at it. You know the kind of smile, the one that used to be just for you. I asked her who she was talking to. She gave me some half-hearted excuse about a work group chat. But I knew. So I did something I never thought I'd do. I went through her phone while she was in the shower. And there it was. Confirmation. Messages between her and her boss, late-night conversations, inside jokes, and things that made my stomach turn. They were planning a future together. She was going to leave me. I wish I could tell you I confronted her right away, that I stood up, threw the phone down, and let her have it. But I didn't. Instead, I just sat there, letting the betrayal settle in. Over the next few days, I watched her, waiting for her to say something. I wanted to see if she'd admit it. If she'd tell me she was unhappy, but she didn't. She just kept playing the part of the loving wife, all while planning her exit behind my back. Then, life threw in a twist I never saw coming. Her sister, Olivia, called me out of the blue. We'd always gotten along, but she wasn't the type to just chat. She had a tone in her voice that made my stomach drop. "I need to tell you something," she said. And man, did she. Turns out my wife's boss, her grand soulmate, her new beginning, wasn't the loyal, devoted man she thought he was. Olivia had caught him with another woman who wasn't my wife. And just like that, my wife's fantasy world came crashing down. She came home that night looking wrecked. She sat next to me, her hands shaking, and for the first time in weeks, she really looked at me. "I made a mistake," she whispered. I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. "Yeah, you did," she cried. She begged. She said she didn't know what she was thinking, that she had been caught up in something she couldn't explain, that she never actually wanted to leave me, that she loved me, that we could fix this. But the thing is, she already had left me. Maybe not physically, but emotionally, she was long gone. She had chosen someone else, and now, just because he turned out to be trash, she wanted to come crawling back? No. I told her I was done. That I had been done the moment I read those messages. That her regret didn't undo the betrayal, didn't erase the nights I sat there questioning my worth, didn't take away the pain she had caused. She begged. She said we could go to therapy, that she would do anything, but the only thing I wanted was to be free of her. I moved out a week later, filed for divorce the next month. It wasn't easy. Hell, it was one of the hardest things I've ever done. But you know what? It was also the best thing I ever did. Because now, I get to live a life where I'm not just someone's second choice. And her? Well, last I heard, her boss moved on to another affair. Guess she got a taste of what betrayal really feels like. Funny how that works, huh? Life after the divorce was an adjustment. There were nights where the loneliness hit hard, where I questioned if I'd done the right thing. But then I'd remember the betrayal, the lies, and the way she had already mentally checked out of our marriage long before I ever found out, and I'd remind myself I deserved better. I focused on myself. Picked up new hobbies, reconnected with old friends, even started hitting the gym again. And you know what? It felt good. For the first time in years, I felt like I was living for me. One day, about 6 months after the divorce was finalized, I ran into Olivia. We grabbed a coffee and caught up. She told me that my ex was miserable, that she regretted everything but was too ashamed to reach out. I just nodded, sipping my coffee, realizing that I felt nothing. No anger, no bitterness, just peace. And that's when it really hit me. I had moved on. So yeah, my wife had an affair with her boss. She thought she had found something better. And in the end, she lost everything. But me, I gained something she'll never have again. My freedom, my self-respect, and a future where I come first. And damn, that feels good.